to the second session of our program. After the first session, which was introductory in nature, in which Professor Pabla gave you an overview of optimization and the different techniques, now we will start with topic wise. And the first topic will be dealt by Dr. Deepam Goyal. He will deal with the linear programming problems. And after the lunch, he will continue with his talk on simplex method. Now, Dr. Deepam, I'm very proud to say that Dr. Deepam has been our PhD student, and he has really done a very good work during his PhD and before that also. In fact, he did his PhD under DST Inspire Fellowship with us, and the title of his PhD was Development of Proactive Non-Contact Condition Monitoring System for Rotating Machine Elements. And he published a good number of SEI papers out of his research work. And also his research work finds large citations on in the research world. Dr. Deepam has one patent to his credit, one copyright to his credit, one book, 14 publications in SCI journals, more than 30 in Scopus, and he has nearly 500 Google Scholar citations. So I'm sure that Dr. Deepam will be able to convey to you the two very fundamental optimization techniques, that is LP. In LP, I think probably first he will deal with graphical. Is that right, Deepam? You will deal with graphical method first?
Yes, sir, graphical.
Okay. And then the simplex method. So tomorrow when we start with our MATLAB session, so there we will be using the same techniques in MATLAB. So I welcome Dr. Deepam and I thank you and I thank him for accepting for our invitation to deliver the expert lectures. So over to Dr. Deepam, please.
Okay, thank you, sir. So a very good morning to all the participants who are attending this beautiful and very useful course in engineering, of engineering optimization. So in the previous session, you have come to know about the various techniques, various introduction to linear programming problems, which has come into existence in optimization world. Because as far as research is concerned, or we can say our mechanical engineering courses are concerned, so optimization is most important part of our academia. So in this session, we will discuss about the very basic, we can say, technique that is called linear programming problem. Basically, linear programming problems can be solved by basically two methods. First is graphical and second one is simplex method. So in this session, in particular this session, we will deal with only graphical method, and basically isocost, isoprofit method is also there, which is just linked about with the graphical method only. So as you may know that what is the linear programming problems basically. So as name suggests, linear means we have some objective functions and constraints that, as Dr. Pabla told you in the previous session, that we have a linear constraints, linear objectives, design variables, etc. So linear programming is an optimization strategy which is used for maximizing, minimizing the objective functions subject to linear constraints. Important word is the linear constraints, that we have a 1-degree polynomial only for graphical method particularly. So in our daily life, whenever we go to any for any shopping, we have some constraints, we have some desires, we have some criteria to purchase something. लाइक आप कोई कार खरीदने जाते हैं तो, या कोई आप कोई क्लोथ खरीदने जाते हैं, कोई भी चीज हम खरीदते हैं तो हमारे कुछ कंस्ट्रेंट्स होते हैं कॉस्ट से रिलेटेड, या हमारे उसके कुछ फीचर्स से लेकर या उसके कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स से लेकर, तो उन सबको कंसीडर करते हुए हम कोई भी चीज खरीदते हैं। तो एक ऑप्टिमाइजेशन बेसिकली वर्ड है कि ना मैक्सिमाइजेशन है ना मिनिमाइजेशन है। वी विल
Dr. Deepam, I have a request.
Yes, sir.
Please continue in English. We have participants from all over India.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So I'm talking about that the optimization basically means not particularly for maximization and not for minimization. This basically means the optimal solution which can which resources I have, and we have availability of resources, and that we can optimize in such a manner that our all the criteria features can be fulfilled. So we will start with our today's session and how to solve the graphical problems with different types of constraints, linear constraints basically. So these are the our flow of the our today's session. First is we will know about the linear programming introduction, and what is the various processes used in LPP, and what are the various characteristics used in LPP, and what are the components which makes the model to solve by maximization or minimization, and how we can formulate the problem, because before solving the problem we should know, and I can say we must know that how the various model can be designed in a particular steps, and then we will go to the solution. But when we use graphical method, there are some exceptional cases like feasible solution, unfeasible solution, alternate solution, bounded, unbounded solution. So there are some exceptional cases also. And the most important is that in practical life, we generally have the problems in statement form. Like we have a diet nutrition problem, like we have cost labor, working hours problem. So we have a statement problem. And when we have to solve this by mathematically, especially optimization, so we first convert that statement problem into mathematical model. We will do the practice of that questions also, and then some practice problems related to graphical method. So linear programming problem basically very widely used mathematical technique as we studied in our plus two and graduation, post-graduation courses generally, because this is very basic, as Dr. Dhami told, that is very basic tool used for optimization to optimum allocation of scarce resources among competing demands. So as I told you, linear programming consists of linear objectives and linear constraints. Like objectives of constraints, industrial decisions frequently involve maximizing productivity, minimizing maintenance costs. We always have an objective that we should maximize our profit, productivity, and minimize our maintenance costs, labor costs, and schedule downtime, etc. So linear programming use the different types of components that we will discuss, and what is the process which is followed to solve the linear programming problem. First of all, we should identify the problem. Either it can be solved by linear programming, because any problem which has a linear constraints, you should note, any problem which has linear constraints can only be solved by linear programming problem, and especially by graphical solution. And then we formulate, and then we solve the model, and then we implement the model using the various tools. Next, these are the characteristics. Either problem is of minimization or maximization. As I told you, either we have to minimize our cost, maintenance cost, schedule downtime, etc. and the constraints are of the equality. Basically, when we talk about the graphical solution, we generally deal with the inequality type. Why it's so? That I will explain you in coming slides. And all the decision variables should be positive, or we can say non-negative, because if I'm talking about any proteins, minerals, labor costs, etc., it should be positive. And what is the importance of these decision variables as a positive integers that you will know after some time during when we solve the questions. And this is the general linear programming model. So whenever we solve any problem by linear programming graphical method, so this is our basic model which we will have to design. First is the objective function z is equal to p1 x1. This is just we can say nomenclature or model, and then some constraints, and then non-negativity constraints. So you should know before solving the graphical problem what are the various terms used in the modeling. First is decision variables. So these are the mathematical symbols representing levels of activity of a firm. Example, like you want to purchase the clothes, or we can say anything, wearable thing. So when you go to shopping, so you first have some constraints and some parameters which you want to be consider before purchasing, and you convey that all the features and your desires to shopkeeper, like I need this color, I want the clothes of just of this budget like way. So these types of variables which makes us to purchase something are known as decision variables, which decides our product to take to purchase, or we can say consider in our problem. Objective function means what we have to optimize. Either we have to optimize cost, either we have to optimize our profit, either we have to optimize our working hours, either we have to optimize our transport route, etc. And that depends on the problem. And constraints, like you want to purchase something and you have a constraint that this object, this product should be less than equal to this value, because anything which we want to purchase do not have any limit. So we have to uh, add some constraints to solve this some linear programming problem. And parameters are generally the coefficients which are used in objective function before the as a coefficient of decision variables, and that are considered as the parameters. So this is example, practical example. So how the model is looks like. So this first is we have a maximization that's equal to x1 plus x2. Like we have to maximize the sum of two positive numbers x1 and x2, and subjects to constraints, because if I just say maximize z is equal to x1 and x2, it doesn't mean anything, because x1 and plus x2, anything we can consider a value, and it has a infinite value also. So subject to constraints, because if these constraints are followed, then how we can maximize the x1 plus x2? So x1 and x2 are decision variables in this case, and x1 plus 2x2 less than equal to 4. This is one constraint. When the combination of decision variable with their particular corresponding, we can say, parameters, then constraints becomes a physical, right? Because x1 plus 2x2 is less than equal to 4. And most important constraints, I told you in characteristics of LPP, that all the decision variables should be, and I can say must be, greater than equal to 0. Okay. Why it is so? Because whenever we solve the graphical solution, we consider only first quadrant. And practical also, if I talk about any route, any cost, any profit, they can't be negative. Diet, nutrition, they all are positive. Minerals are positive, never be negative. So in graphical solution, we generally consider the decision variable should be non-negative, right? And when we come to final solution of the decision variables, then the vector formed by the values of the decision variables is known as a design vector, right? So this is the formulation steps, because when we move to solve the graphical solution, we should have a formulation steps. First, we should identify what I want to optimize. Means we should identify our objective function, because majority of the time when researchers come using this optimization models, he he or she is not able to identify what he wants to achieve, because once you have decided that I want to achieve this types of objective function, and when I achieve this objective function my problem will be resolved. So we should identify clearly, and it takes some time. And if I talk about specially research, either it is MTech, either it is PhD, we students must know what he want to optimize, and at what level he come to know that he has obtained his objective. So step two, to achieve that objective and at the maximize or minimize that objective, we should know which parameters affect my objective function. Like, because if I want to complete my thesis, if I complete my task at the end of July, so I should know which factor affects my objective function, which parameters hinders my activities to complete my task. So you should know the decision variables, right? So step three, you should know the variable bounds, that each design variable, but we have a maximum value and what we have a minimum value of that particular bound, right? Step four. So when we come, because there are two types of constraints. One constraint is particular value of design constraint. Like if you want to purchase something, I just take an instance that cost is my one parameter. So I should know that cost must be less than equal to 2000. Right? This is one constraint. When I consider the another design variable, that another design variable is brand. So if I want to particular by brand also, so then I have to compromise with cost also. So the combination of cost and brand, it when they both are integrated, then it becomes a new constraint also. So particular individual design variable is also important and should have its own bound, and the combination of different decision variables should have some bounds. So step four is we have to write all the constraints as a relationship of design variables, and then we should write the objective function and the constraints in mathematical form, because we have to solve the problem by graphical solution. We should know the equations, right? See, now we consider one problem. This is the maximization example, right? I just consider a Beaver Creek Pottery Company, and our problem is you should note at your notebook also, so that we can solve parallelly during this and this problem. How many bowls and mugs should be produced to maximize profits given labor and material constraints? Right? So we should understand this problem. Now, this is statement problem. We have to manufacture two things: one bowls, second mugs. And when we have to produce bowls and mugs, we have two constraints, because bowls and mugs will be produced by labor, and what type of material and how much material we should require to produce the particular bowls and mugs. So, but ultimate objective of the company that we have to maximize our profit. So in that context, we have this table. You can look into this table. We have resource requirements, labor, clay, bowl, mug. We should understand this table first. It means bowl 1 means to produce one bowl, labor constraint says that we have 1 hour per unit. Okay, so if we to produce one bowl, we need 1 hour of labor. Similarly, if bowl is only considered, we need 4 kg of clay for to produce 1 unit of bowl. And second, similarly, in case of mug, we have 2 hours per unit and 3 kg for clay. And this fourth column profit, it means 40, when we produce one bowl, we have 40 rupees per unit profit. Similarly for mug, 50. And now one thing is left. We know the design variables now, we know the constraints now, and one thing is remain, that is objective functions, and that is given in the next slide. This one, resource availability. We have a 40 hours of labor per day. This is now constraint. See, in the previous slide, they just tell that 1 unit require 1 hour of labor, right? Now, here we have constraint that in each day we can use 40 hours of labor. 40 hours we mean if we have a 3 workers, so then they totally 3 use 40 hours per day, right? And similarly, we have a 120 kgs of clay as a constraint. So, first of all, as I told you in the steps, first we analyze the complete problem to establish the desired outcome, and now we will decide our design variables. What our design variables? And you are, I think you are very well decided that bowls and mugs are our design variables, because object design variables are the variables which decides the objective function. So objective function is our to maximize profit, and profit comes from the bowls and mugs. So decision variables are our bowls and mugs. Okay, so x1 is number of bowls to produce per day, and x2 is number of mugs to produce per day. And what is the objective function? See, objective function is, they told us profit per unit means if I produce one bowl, so I have a profit 40. If I have two bowl, I have a profit 80. So means 40 x1. If I produce x1 bowls, so I have a profit of 40 x1. Similarly, for mug 50 x2, objective function is z is equal to 40 x1 plus 50 x2, where z is the profit per day, and we have to maximize this profit. Constraints. We should take care about these constraints, because without constraints, we can't solve our problem and we can't uh, get an optimal or accurate solution for the particular problem. How we can design the constraint, we should know. See, in the previous table, they say labor for ball need 1. So means 1x1 plus 2x2. Okay, so and 2 for mug. So labor constraint, what is labor constraint? We have a 40 hours for labor per day. See, you just look on into this resource availability. This will decide what we have to design the constraints. 40 hours of labor. So we count all the labor we have, and how we how we come to know about the availability of labor? This one. Labor for ball is 1, labor for mug is 2, means 1x1 plus 2x2 less than equal to 40. So that's why 1x1 plus 2x2 is less than equal to 40. Similarly, we have a second constraint. You just see my cursor, 120 kgs of clay. So it means we have a restrictions on clay. And as far as clay is concerned, we have a 4 kg for bowl, 3 kg for mug. So means 4x1 plus 3x2 less than equal to 120. Okay, and maybe someone is thinking that why we have incorporated less than equal to sign. You should know that as we have a resource availability, means we can't use labor greater than equal to 40 because there is only availability of 40 hours per day. So it means our constraint should be less than equal to 40. Similarly for clay. And as I told you, most important condition x1, x2 greater than equal to 0 means bowls and mugs can never be negative. We can't say that minus 2 bowls. It doesn't mean anything. So it should be positive. So now we move to solution. Then step is formulation of linear programming model. Z is equal to 40x1 plus 50x2. This is the profit and these are the constraints. And now we will, I think you have noted down these constraints into your notebook so that we will proceed further. We should note Z is 40x1 plus 50x2 and 1x1 plus 2x2, 54x1, 3x2 less than equal to 20. See, you should know we have two types of solution. One is feasible solution, second is unfeasible solution. Feasible solution means feasible, means it does not violate any of the constraints. And how we come to know that it does not violate any of the constraints? See, labor constraint check. I just put any value, x1 is equal to 5, x2 is equal to 10, and it must be less than equal to 40 and less than equal to 120. If it is okay, then we can say our problem is feasible. You just know that it should satisfy all the constraints in our model. If it violates any of the constraints, then problem will be infeasible, right? Like this way. If because we have 40 and we are getting the 50, so 50 greater than 40, it means it has violated the constraint. So our solution is infeasible. But in graphical solution, generally we can solve by a graphical method. We must have two decision variables. If we have three decision variables, then it will be some tedious task to solve by graphical method, and the better method to solve the problem with three decision variables is simplex method that we will discuss after the lunch. So graphical methods can be classified into two categories. One is isoprofit line method, second is extreme point valuation method. And the majority of the time, extreme point valuation method is used to attain the optimal values. And isoprofit line method is also used, but very rarely used. So, but I will tell you about the isoprofit method also. So now see how to solve by graphical method. Just see, we have two variables x1 and x2, and x1 we have bowls, x2 we have mugs. So in x1, x-axis we have drawn x1, and on y-axis we have drawn x2. And these are our mathematical model given in this left side. So accordingly, first line is 1x1 plus 2x2 is less than equal to 40. So as I think you should know that how to design a line. I have a line. When we want to draw a line in a graph, we just forget about the inequality for a moment. X1 plus 2x2 is equal to 40. Put x2 is equal to 0, x1 is 40. Put x1 is equal to 0, x2 is 20. So we draw a line. This is x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 40, right? See, one thing is very important here. x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 40 is right if we have only equality. But here we have an inequality. So any line in this plane divides the plane into two parts. One is upward, one is downward, right? One is upward, second is downward. So how we decide that which part we have to consider for our problem? So see, you just always put a region into that line. Listen carefully. We just put a region into that line. See, x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 40. Region means 0, comma 0. So 0 plus 2 into 0 is equal to 0. So 0 is less than equal to 40. Is it right or wrong? Yes. It means, so that part will come which contain origin. So 0 is less than equal to 40, equality is true. So it means this part will be our concern. Okay. So next is we draw the second line. So this is our shaded region. For this particularly x1 plus 2x2 is less than equal to 40, right? Second line is 4x1 plus 3x2 is less than equal to 120. So how we can draw? Put x2 is equal to 0, x1 is 30, put x1 is equal to 0, x2 is 40. So this is a 4x1 plus 3x2 is 4x1 plus 3x2 is equal to 120, but this is equality only. So how, but we have to draw inequality. So just put a region 0 plus 0 is equal to 0. So 0 is less than equal to 120? Yes. So we will consider that part which contains region. So it means downward direction. Okay. So now in this slide we have drawn the both constraints. So the common region is now this one. If you, one line is this, one line is this, so common region is this. And most important, I told you, x1, x2 is greater than equal to 0. Means first quadrant we will consider only here. So next, now see, I just refer to you that we have this optimal region. This, you just look on my cursor, this, and this. This is our common part subject to these constraints. Now, first I consider end point optimization method, end points evaluation method. So we just note down all the end points. First is 0, second is 30, 0, third is 0, 20, and fourth one is this point. Fourth one is this point. So how to calculate this point? And you should know that where the two lines intersect, that point is called point of intersection, and that point of intersection can be solved using substitution, elimination, cross multiplication method. So two equations can be solved easily to obtain this point. Okay. So what are the coordinates of this point is 24, 8. If you will solve now, so you will get this point 24, 8. So now we have 4 points 0, 0, 30, 0, 0, 20, and 24, 8. So these are the 4 points which will decide that either my function is maximized or not. So how, but optimal solution is one. Either we have to take x1 vowels, either we have to take x2 marks. So how we will decide? We just simply put all these coordinates into our objective functions one by one. So when you will put 0 in 40x1 plus 50x2, we will get 0. So 0. If we put 0, 20, we will get 1000 because 0 plus 50 into 20 is 1000. If I put 24,8, we will get 1360. If I put 30,0, I will get 1200. So now we have to consider what is our objective function is to maximize the profit. So by taking into account these 4 points, we have a maximum value at z is equal to 1360, and correspondingly x1 is equal to 24 and x2 is equal to 8. So it means our problem has now been solved, that x1 is equal to 24 and x2 is equal to 8. Means under all the constraints of labor and material, 40 hours per day of labor and 120 kgs of clay. So if we may produce 24 bowls and 8 mugs, it will gives us a profit of 1360. So this is a very simple problem to how to solve the linear programming problem using graphical solution. As I told you, the second problem is of isoprofit method. Okay, so in isoprofit method, just see, this is a little bit about very tedious task I told you, but how to solve? In this particular method, we never go about the endpoint terms. In this, we have the same model, 40x1 plus 50x2, x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 40, etc. We just take this coefficient, please see carefully, 40x1 plus 50x2. We just note down 40x1 plus 50x2. We start with a line. And how 800 comes? This you should know. How this 800 comes. See, 40x1 plus 50x2 is equal to something. I do not know what is something. So you just take LCM of 40 and 50. So if I take LCM of 40 and 50, it comes 40, 50, 200. So we should start with the line 40x1 plus 50x2 is equal to 200. So when we draw 40x1 plus 50x2 is equal to 200, it will give a line. You just see my cursor, this like this way. Okay, 4.5, very close to origin. So it means it will not solve our purpose, because this is our shaded region and we have to move some beyond this origin to get an optimal point. So 40x1 plus 50x2 is equal to 209 is like this way. It means we have to increase our something. That something is now 400, 600, 800. This line is 800. But you should you can see that this now this portion is again is still left. So we put 1000, 1200, 1300, and then see 800, 1200, 1600. You will see 800 will not solve our purpose, 1200 still not solving our purpose because this area is still left, and 1600 is beyond our shaded region. It means there is some value between 1200 and 1600 to get our this targeted point. So this is a manually method. You have to put after 1200, 1250, 1300, 1320, 1360. When you will, and because we have already solved this problem by graphical method and by end term point valuation method, we know that 1360 will be our solution. So when you put 40x1 plus 50x2 is equal to 1360, then you will check that this target point, this point only, this point will be the only line. 40x1 plus 50x2 is equal to 1360 will be only line which passes through this point, and accordingly we will draw a horizontal and vertical line, and that will give you 24,8. So we will get the optimal values of bowls and mugs as 24 and 8. So as I told you, this is very time consuming and tedious task. So this method is very rarely used by the academicians and researchers. but endpoint term evaluation method is more simply, and it is very time saving also, right? So I think now you are familiar with both end-term valuation and isoprofit method. If you have any doubt, you can ask me later, or you can ask me now also if you have any doubt. Okay. So now, as I told you, this is our optimal point. Right? Solution will be same. Obvious, solution will be same. X1 is 24, X2 is 8, and Z is equal to 36, the right way. Now, so there are some exceptional cases in graphical method. Okay. First is alternative solution. I just suggest you to please solve this problem in your notebook. Yes, please. Everyone should solve this problem in your notebook so that you will come to know that how to solve the linear programming problem by graphical solution. I give you 1 minute. First of all, draw axis, x-axis and y-axis, and then draw the lines x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 5, x1 plus x2 is equal to 4, and obvious first quadrant only, and then consider the constraints. If it towards origin or it is farthest from origin, and I hope you all have drawn see. So when you will draw these lines, you will get this type of graph. First line is x1 plus 2x2 is equal to 5. This one is 9, because if x2 is equal to 0, x1 is 5, and x1 is 0, then x2 is equal to 2.5. So this is a line. And second line is x1 plus x2 is equal to 4. And the common region is obvious towards the origin. So this is 0, C, B, A. So 0, A, B, C, we have 4 points, and correspondingly coordinates are given here: 0, 0, 4, 0, 3, 0, and 0, 2.5. And you just put these, you put all these 4 values into your objective function z is equal to 2x1 plus 4x2. So you will get 0, 8, 10, 10. See, as we are discussing about the special case of alternate solution, so you have decided that B also gives value of 10, C also gives value of 10. It means if I produce, take 3, 1 of x1 and x2 respectively, 0, 2.5. So we both can consider to get our optimal solution. It means if I take 3, 1, 0, 2.5, we do not suffer with any losses, and we have this best solution for our particular problem. So this is a case of alternative solution. We do not need to reject anything from B or C, because someone was asking in the previous course that why we are taking both these values, we should reject one. But no, because our ultimate objective is to maximize our profit, so we have to consider both. If I just talk about the previous problem like bowls and mugs, so if I produce 3 bowls and 1 mugs, we will get maximum profit. If I produce 0 bowls and 2.5 mugs, obvious 2.5 mugs is not possible, but I just take 3. So 3, then we have also 10 value of maximum profit. So there is no problem. Okay. So second case is infeasible solution. Please now again consider this problem and solve in your notebook. That is x1 plus x2. x1 plus x2 is less than equal to 1. Minus 3x1 plus x2 is greater than equal to 3. x1, x2 is greater than equal to 0. Same process. First, draw 2D Cartesian system, and then draw x1 plus x2 is equal to 1 minus 3x1 plus x2 is equal to 3. And obvious first quadrant. Sorry. So I think you have obtained this type of graph now. So first equation is x1 plus x2 is equal to this equation. x1 plus x2 is equal to, I think this is something little about mistake by 0. We should take it 1. Okay. So x2 is equal to 0, x1 is 1, x1 is 0, x2 is equal to 1. So this is one line, and this is minus 3x1 plus x2 is equal to 3. So this is in second line you have to consider for this particular problem. And if we consider the constraints for these two equations, so first equation is saying that x1 plus x2 is less than equal to 1. It means it makes me to move towards origin part, like this shaded region. You just see my cursor. And second equation is saying minus 3x1 plus 2. You just put an origin. 0 plus 0 is greater than equal to 3. Is 0 is greater than equal to 3? No. It means that portion will come which do not include origin. Means, you just see this part here. Means because this line has this part and this part. So origin line in this part. So we do not consider this portion. We consider this only portion, and obvious in first quadrant only. So now see, there is no common solution. Okay, I can say shaded region is null set, empty set. Feasible solution doesn't lie. So in this particular problem, we can say this problem is of infeasible solution, and whereas we can't obtain any particular x1 and x2 to optimize our objective function. Okay. So third case is unbounded solution. So as far as unbounded solution is concerned, we just note down these constraints and please draw on your notebook. Same process you have to follow. I think now you are familiar with drawing a 2D Cartesian system with all these constraints. Okay, so next is, I think you have drawn these lines in your, considering these all these constraints. So first equation we have x1 plus x2 is equal to 35, because if I can just simplify, take two common, x1 plus x2 is equal to 35. So I just obtain this line, x1, 2x1 plus x2 is equal to 70, and second one is x1 plus x2 is equal to 40, and third one is this. Now you just see, x1 plus x2 is even 35 means if I put an origin into these values, just see all the criteria fails for this equation, because 0 never be greater than 70, 40, and 90. It means all these three lines will give me that region which do not contain origin path. So it means all the farthest from the region, and you can see that common region is unbounded. Unbounded. It means answer is infinity, and infinity is not never an answer. So we can say this problem is unbounded problem, and we have unbounded solution. So there is no boundary for increasing values of x1 and x2. Okay. So now, as I told you, in a practical life and in our daily life, whenever you go to industry, whenever you go to your mentor, whenever you go to any field, you will be given by some statement problem. Like, this problem is of dietitian. You just note down this problem. A dietitian, I think, see, important is you must understand this problem. A dietitian wishes to mix two types of foods in such a way that vitamin contents of the mixture contain at least 16 units of vitamin A and 20 units of vitamin C. Means we have to mix two types of food, because whenever we take any food like lunch, dinner, like let us say we have a vegetables, curd, rice, like this way. So we wish to mix types of foods in such a way that vitamin contents of the mixture contain at least 16 units of vitamin A and 20 units of vitamin C. And A contains 4 units per kg of vitamin A, 2 units per kg of vitamin C. And food B contains 2 unit kg of vitamin A and 4 units per kg of vitamin C. And the objective function is we have to minimize the cost of such a mixture. And dietitian told me that we have to, if I have to purchase a kg of food A, it costs rupees 40, and if I purchase kg of food B, it costs rupees 50. So now we have to formulate the model of this problem. I'm telling you one, and next one will be tried with you at your part. See, here we have a two design variables, food A and food C. Okay, so we have assumed that our diet, as your lunch contains x1 units of food A and x2 units of food B. Consider just vegetable of food A and wheat of food B, like that way. Okay, so x1 is food A and x2 is for food B. So first constraint is food A contains 4 units per kg of vitamin A, means we have a constraint for vitamin 16. You just see my cursor. This first statement gives you a constraint. The dietitian wishes to mix two types of food in such a way. In such a way means subject to constraint. That vitamin contents of the mixture contain at least 16 units of vitamin A and 20 units of vitamin C. So it means vitamin A, we have a maximum at least 16 units of vitamin A, means whenever we take a particular diet, we have a minimum quantity of vitamin A as 16 units. So at least means greater than equal to. Okay, at least means minimum we have a 16, right? So as far as constraints are concerned, so food A contains 4 units per kg of vitamin A. So it means 4x1 plus 2x2 greater than equal to 16, because food A contains 4 units per kg vitamin A and food B contains 2 units per vitamin A. So 4 from vitamin A, 4 for food A, 2 from food B for vitamin A, and constant is 16. Similarly, for vitamin C, food A contains 2 units per kg and 4 units of vitamin for food B. So 2x1 plus 4x2 is greater than or equal to 20. And objective function is 40x1 plus 60x2. You can see here now. So 4x1, this is for vitamin A equation. This is for vitamin B equation. I think you are clear with this constraint greater than or equal to, because we have at least quantity of vitamin A. So it means greater than or equal to, and objective function is minimize cost. So 40x1 plus 60x2. Okay. So now we have to, once we have obtained a model, and now you can easily solve by graphical solution. I think you should solve. Yes, you can try. You just try at your own part. You just note down these equations. Okay, so move to second part. Now you just read this problem and try to formulate the linear programming model. Yes, a company manufactures two types of screws, P and Q. Each type of screw requires the use of two machines, an automatic and a hand operated. Okay, so just as whatever you are reading, you just put on your notebook so that it will be easy to design a model. So it takes 4 minutes on the automatic machine and 6 minutes on hand operated machines to manufacture a package of screws P. While it takes 6 minutes on automatic and 3 minutes on the hand operated machines to manufacture a package of screws Q. Now see, each machine is available for at the most 4 hours on any day. This is our constraint equation now. It is saying that both automatic and hand operated machines have availability per day of 4 hours only. So it means automatic machine and hand operated machines cannot be used after 4 hours. It means less than equal to 4 hours is our constraint equation. Now how to build up our constraints? See, we have a constraints on machines. So you just consider x1 for screw P, x2 for screw Q. Okay, I think you should try, because this you will be only able to learn by practice. If you have understand the formulation process and you have understand your statement, then you can easily formulate a model. So I think now you have noted down the equations. So should we proceed? Okay. So we have objective function because we have to manufacture screw P and Q. So we have to maximize the profit. So as far as profit is concerned, we have a 10 profit for screw P and 12 rupees for screw Q. Objective function is 10x1 plus 12x2 is very clear. And constraints we have to consider here 4x1 plus 6x2, because how it comes? See, we have a constraints on machine availability. So screw P takes 4 for automatic and 6 for screw P. So 4x1 plus 6x2 is less than equal to 240. And for hand operated, 6 for screw P and 3 for screw Q. And availability is same 4. So I think it is by mistake I have written 24. It should be 240. You please correct it. It should be 240. And someone is thinking, that how it is 240, here is 4. You should know that all these constraints are in minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes. So here, availability of machines at the most of 4 hours. So we should convert into minutes to balance the equation. So this is 4 into 60 is equal to 240. So generally, someone can make a mistake of this type also. We should know, and once we have obtained a model, it is very easy to solve the problem by graphical solution as we have discussed earlier. Okay, so you can solve this equation by your part. So these are the practice problem now you are dealing with. You just open your notebooks and please solve this problem. First of all, just draw a 2D Cartesian system, x-axis, y-axis, and draw these two equations one by one. First take 5x plus y is 100. So y is 0, x is 20. If x 0, y is 100. So 20 comma 0 and 0 comma 100. Okay. Second equation is very simple. So 60 comma 0, 0 comma 60. I hope you have drawn both these lines on your notebook. And now consider the constraints. And for considering the constraints and particularly the schedule region, you have to put an origin. So just put an origin 0, 0. So it satisfies the equation. It means origin part will be considered. So schedule region is there. And there is a one point of intersection also. So that point of intersection should be 10 comma 50. If you will solve, I think you have solved in your notebook that you will obtain 1 point 10 comma 50. So there are 4 end term points 20 comma 0, 0 comma 0, 0 comma 60 and 10 comma 50. And just put all these 4 points into the objective function 50x plus 50y. So 0 comma 0 will give 0, 20 comma 0 will give 1000, 20 comma 0 will give 1000, yes, 60 comma 0 will give 3000, and 10 comma 50 will give 1250. So as our objective is to maximize the profit, or we can say maximize our productivity, anything we can consider. So our answer is 3000, and correspondingly x1 and x2 are 60 comma 0. Okay, so I think you have solved this problem now. Now consider this problem now. Now you please all solve this problem at your own part. Yes, we have to minimize the objective function z is equal to 3x plus 5y and subject to the constraints minus 2x plus y is less than equal to 4, x plus y is greater than equal to 3, x minus 2y is greater than equal to 2, and x and y are non-negative. You all should try at your part, solve on your notebook, follow the same process, draw a 2D Cartesian system with x and y axis and draw all these 3 constraints having equation. Minus 2x plus y is 4, x plus y is equal to 3, like this way. Okay, first equation will give you minus 2 comma 0 and 0 comma 4. Draw the line. Second equation will give 3 comma 0, 0 comma 3. Draw a line. And next will give you 2 comma 0 and 0 comma minus 1. Okay. So accordingly, consider the less than equal to greater than equal to sign. You can draw these points. Also try. So we can see the second equation creates some problem in this model. X plus y is greater than equal to 3. So x1 plus y greater than equal to 3 means a region portion will not be considered. So it means it go beyond the origin part and it makes this solution is infeasible solution. Okay, so which part you consider? Feasible solution or unbounded? So you can decide and solve this problem. Okay, you must consider the second part. X plus y is equal to 3. Okay, first equation will give origin part, second equation will give farthest from origin part, and third equation will also give towards the origin part. And the common part is going like way unbounded. So now this is the last problem. We have solved this problem now. Maximize z is equal to 100x plus 100y subject to 10x plus 5y is less than equal to 80. 6x plus 6y is 66. You can simplify this equation also by taking the common terms. Like first equation, you can take 5 common. So 2x plus y is less than equal to 16. You can simplify also equation also. Yes, hope you are all are solving this problem on your notebook so that you will be very familiar with the graphical solution. Uh, hope you have drawn all the lines. So yes, when you will draw these 4 lines and obvious in first quadrant, so you will get the 5 points, common 5 points, common shade region 5 points, 0, 11, 8, 0, 6, 0, 0, 3, and 5, 6. And at 0, 11 and 5, 6, you will obtain a similar value of 1100. And 8, 0, you will obtain an 800. 6, 0 will give 600. 0, 3, 300. I have just solved. You can solve this on your part also. If you have any mistake, you can consider. Yes, someone has put an solution in the chat box also. 0, 11, 0, 3, 6, 0, 8, 0, and 5, 6. Okay. So we will obtain, and this is a case of alternative solution. So if we consider 0, 11 and 5, 6, so we have both will optimize our problem, and we will achieve an optimal solution using graphical method. Okay, so thank you. If you have any problem, any type of doubt, you can ask me. In the next session, we will discuss about the various second type of method, and the simplex method, big M method, penalty method we will discuss in the next session, because graphical solution, as I told you earlier, is restricted to mainly two decision variables only. If there are three variables, and to solve the equation with the three variables on the 2D Cartesian system is really a tedious task, because we have to assume two parameters as a one parameter to solve the equations. So we do not use graphical solution for three variables, and we will go with simplex method only. Okay, so if you have any type of doubt, you can contact me on this number or this email ID also, or you can ask me in the next session also. Yes, if anyone has doubt, please ask me.
Thank you, Dr. Deepam.